Yep.
Hey everyone,
Take off.
welcome back. And today we are doing the Atrium Complex. But first, we got ourselves a tarot card. So basically, for the gold cards, they are an ability that you activate in the game by pushing E. And the top row there is for silver cards, which are like passive abilities. And I think throughout this game, you will see me push the button for the golden cards like maybe twice. Mostly because I keep forgetting I have it. It's one of those things where you can only push the button for the tarot card one time per level. So that's why I don't use it. And here, anyway, here's our new enemy, monks. Only thing to really note of them is that they throw their axe as a ranged weapon. And when they do that, they have no weapon left, so they just die.
So they're like bees.
Yep, they are bees. And then we'll see a variant of them later on where they wield two axes, so they can do it twice.
A big upgrade.
Anyway, level condition for this one is to break all of the objects, so which involves basically finding all the secrets. And we're also going to be getting a new weapon slightly early, so that should be fun. Spoiler alert, it is fun. It's actually the closest this game has to a sniper rifle.
Let me just clarify that I was not being sarcastic. I said it was fun.
Anyway, here it is, the stake gun. And as you can figure out, it fires entire logs at people, and you peg them to walls. And the
What
second...
is,
Oh.
what is... No, go on first.
Okay. Secondary fire is that you lob grenades.
What is the name of that gun in, like, there is, like, there is a harpoon, Bioshock 2, there is a harpoon shooter. That gun was a lot of fun, because one of the harpoons was basically like a rocket, and exploded, like, you saw that harpoon, like, shooting fire until it exploded on the enemy. That was a really entertaining weapon to use.
And also proving my point that Bioshock did a pretty bad job at the survival horror aspect of it.
Who cares? Who
Uh,
cares? If I'm shooting people with a harpoon and phosphorus rounds, I don't care about the survival horror elements, okay?
I mean, on the one hand, yeah, fair, but on the other hand, it's like that was definitely a theme that they were trying to go for, and that kind of gets in the way of that.
Maybe in the first game.
Bioshock 1 was a better game at every metric.
See, Gok, I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Yeah, Cal is also he also has the right to be wrong.
The fact that you even lump Bioshock 2 and 1 together in the same series is an insult to the original.
I will say that, I think I mentioned this before in another thing. If Bioshock 2, if they made the DLC storyline that they had, the main storyline, I would have been like, okay, this is like, makes sense for it to continue the story.
I don't know if this storyline of the DLC can be stretched to the extent of a full game.
Yeah, but even then, like, the plot twist of that one worked, the reason why you're a Big Daddy worked, the reason why some of the characters actually returned to Rapture after escaping worked. Like, it just made sense. Unlike Bioshock 2, where it just... I don't know. There's a lot wrong with Bioshock 2.
I mean, the basis of the game, right? The Big Daddy, playing as a Big Daddy, is nonsense. The Big Daddies, they represent, like, kind of the hubris and the fall of the original Bioshock, like, of Rapture. So playing as one that is, instead of it being like a proper Big Daddy, oh, you can move around and use plasmids and all that. Shove food through your faceplate. It's silly. It doesn't work.
Well, the other problem with it is that, again, if they're going for that survival horror aspect, which they are because you can pick up food and, like, scrounge for items and stuff, it doesn't make sense to be like, okay, how do we give that idea of, okay, they need to be, like, the player needs to be, like, on edge and always aware of their surroundings and all that. Oh, I know. Let's make him the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the game. Like, because that's what the Big Daddies are. They're designed to basically fuck up anybody who gets too close to a little sister. You know?
They are lumbering.
I would say that perhaps using the argument of you can scrounge up for food as that qualifies the game as a survival horror is a bit of a stretch. I don't think very much. I don't think Bioshock 2 is going much for the idea of being a survival horror game. I think it's very much leaning into being a shooter more than anything.
I think the original was an action game.
Yeah, like, that's the thing, but it does... You can tell that it is... Well, it's made by the same people who did System Shock, and System Shock was definitely survival horror, and it hits a lot of the same elements that System Shock did.
Yeah. But, like, you could say that perhaps they wanted to preserve some of the survival and horror elements, but not necessarily make a game that qualifies as survival horror. Because, really, it doesn't. None of the Bioshock games, I think, qualify as a survival horror. I do.
The Ever Nebulous action adventure.
Action adventure.
Not really. I mean, action adventure would be stuff like Zelda or Metroid to an extent.
I mean, you explore stuff, and there's a lot of action.
Yeah. Yeah, we explore stuff, but it's not very much.
I agree. It was a joke on the genre of action adventure being way too big.
Well,
yeah,
that's... I don't know. It's... Like, when I was playing Bioshock, I definitely got the idea or the feeling that that's what they were going for, was something more akin to, like, a survival horror element. And in that regard, I don't feel that Bioshock 1, and definitely not 2, did a great job at that. I mean, you guys could be right, they might have been going for just a more of a shooter, but I don't know. I guess gameplay and the theme just didn't really work too well with me. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention about this Demon Morph form is that when you get close to the 66 mark, like at 60... After you collect your 64th and 65th soul, you go into Demon Morph mode for a split second, and in that split second you can fire one shot. So... Yeah, and there's the example of the monk throwing his axe and then immediately dying.
I got disconnected there for a brief bit.
Okay. Oh, and the other thing is that these skeleton monks, or reapers, or whatever you want to call them, they're a little annoying because of that little decanter incense that they carry at the end of their scythe. The green one, what it does is that it makes you... oh shoot, I actually forgot. I think it just makes you slow. And if you kill them without giving them or jibbing them, the decanter will still like be lit, and when that happens, if you go near it, it'll still take the effect. I think the green one slows you, and later on there are ones that leak red, and the red ones will damage you. And there was also another enemy that we fought, which was sort of like the Reaper. All they do is that they move pretty quickly and sway towards you, so it's hard to hit them. And like I said, the condition was to break everything, so that includes all these explosive barrels.
Yep.
So, what are you thinking about this game, Go? Yeah, okay, so the green ones do slow you, and that was sort of the example. Go, you there?
I am there.
Okay, I asked you a question.
Well, I was giving you some time to say something because you may start to mention like about the green guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, looks fine. I have yet to play it more than 10 minutes of it. So.
So here's a question. In Painkiller, there's a very limited number of weapons to use. Like, there's only the 6. Would you feel that these 6 weapons were enough for this game, or would it have been nicer if there were actually, like, more?
I presume that is a question for Kel, right?
Basically.
Honestly, the fact that they have dual fire modes helps a lot.
Yeah.
It reminds me, or I should say, Bloodborne reminds me of Painkiller, in that it has like the trick weapons that have multiple modes. I think that helps them quite a bit to make it, feel like there's more to it with the weapons. It being only 6 with a total of 14 variations, it's not. I would like there to be a bit more, but I do think it's enough.
Okay. And this is another thing that if you want to try and get all the secrets in a level for Painkiller, usually when you get to the very end, all the doors will open up for the rest of the level. So, and like 90% of the time there is a secret behind it. So, and that's where the last of the broken objects are. Or breakable objects, I should say.
There is a point, like, there is a way of, you were asking about the question of the weapons, it reminds me of the game, like, you ever heard of the original Prey?
Yeah, that's the one where you play as the Native American shooting the aliens, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I've heard of it, never played it. I heard it's
yeah.
way too easy, though.
Yes, that is the main flaw of the game, but there's fun to be had with the game. And one of the things I really like of the game, because the weapon arsenal was actually was kind of limited in that game too. You had like I think 7 weapons at best, but one of the weapons you had like had 3 different types of ammunition, and each one worked differently.
Okay.
So it was actually really, so that made up for a lot of the. That made up for the lacking numbers of guns.
Okay. Anyway, that was the end of the level, and we will see you all next time. Have a nice night.
Bye-bye.